Hey guys, Chris Wong. I'm filming this video as of March 30th, 2026, and I'd like to talk about, in hindsight, what I wish I did when using a margin. So as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy interested in building a portfolio and trying to achieve financial independence to retire early. So I know the market has dropped down a lot in the last month due to the news that's going on. I won't talk in detail about it, but I would say from this experience, the best way I noticed to settle a margin call, it's actually easiest when there's cash available sitting in a bank account and just deposit money in. But a lot of times it doesn't always happen because I'm waiting for a paycheck from work, which can actually take at least another week, or I'm waiting for my dividend to pay out, which could take like another couple weeks. When settling a margin call just by selling, if everything is 30% margin requirement, then that means I have to sell at least 3.33 times the dollar value of the margin call. And in worst cases, I'll have to sell at a loss. But if I had enough inverse ETFs and I'm breaking even or profiting from it, then that's a way to protect my margin account. And I noticed with the market dropped, I actually ran out of YQQQ by Defiance to sell, and I actually ran out of SH by ProShares. I also sold the last WNTR shares, which is the inverse strategy by YieldMax. I sold the last shares like last month, and even though I sold WNTR at a profit, I still end up in margin call due to using too much margin. Another thing I wish I did months ago is I actually stuck with Canadian listed ETFs in my Wealthsimple margin account, because the margin interest rate would have been cheaper using Canadian currency ones, and by investing in Canadian listed ETFs, the dividends, there's no withholding tax compared to holding US listed ones, so my total return would have been better with the Canadian listed ETFs with the exact same holdings as the US listed ETFs. Even if the US listed ETFs had the weekly paying dividends, the total return is what determines my buying power available to withdraw out of the account. Another thing I wish I did when starting to use margin, especially on my Wealthsimple account, was always kept a spreadsheet of what my total assets are, what my liabilities are, and how much of my account is actually equity. So going forward, as I settle margin calls, I want to make sure that in the future that my equity percentage relative to my total assets is at least, let's say, 75%. There must be a reason why some of the Canadian listed ETF providers, they like to use 25 or 1.25x leverage on their funds, because it's light moderate leverage. So there must be some logic behind using 25% liabilities of total assets when using margin in order to invest. So like if the market drops down and it's only light moderate margin usage, then it should be better protection when there's a big drop in the market. But when using at least 40 or 50% liabilities of your total portfolio, and then the market drops a lot, then that increased chances of margin call. One of the funds I wish I invested in when I started using margin on Wealthsimple was HDIV by Hamilton. This ETF, which is the multi-sector covered call ETF, I know it has like a 10% dividend yield, and so far it looks like the fund drops less than the indexes whenever there's a drop in the market. And it also looks like the dividends continue to grow over time. I wish a few months ago I did buy many shares of HDIV when using margin, as it could have been something I could sell today if I need to sell a margin call, because it looked like HDIV didn't drop as much, and I would just take a small loss on the HDIV. But since I cannot change history, I can only move forward and learn from his experience. I will consider getting HDIV going forward on a regular basis. I may just start accumulating slowly in my margin account as soon as the margin calls are taken care of, and I'm just going to continue building HDIV possibly in a different brokerage account. I even thought about just trying to buy many shares of HDIV in the future, or just have like a set point where I accumulate enough shares of my actual goal and then just stop buying, and then hopefully I just collect the dividends and the dividends continue to grow over time. I hope you guys liked the video. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, please subscribe to my channel for future videos. Thank you guys for watching.